Attention, this is a planetary emergency broadcast. As of 11:34 p.m. GMT, observatories across 6 continents have confirmed an irreversible lunar anomaly. The moon is descending, not crashing or falling, but deliberately lowering itself toward Earth in a slow, spiral descent. The current descent rate is 1.2 miles per day. At this velocity, the moon will reach what scientists are calling the influence threshold in approximately 40 days. Past that point, the physical and psychological effects will become permanent. The public has been told this is a gravitational anomaly, a natural orbital decay that can be corrected. But this is not natural, and it cannot be stopped. The moon is not what you think it is. For billions of years, it maintained a precise distance from the Earth, not by accident, but by design. That distance was a barrier, a quarantine line, one that kept something on the lunar surface from reaching us. Now, that boundary is eroding. What happens as it descends? The effects have already begun. You may not have noticed, but your sleep has changed. Your dreams are longer, more vivid, more invasive. You wake up exhausted, as if you've been doing something all night, somewhere else. And you have been. 6 days ago, when the moon passed below 225,000 miles, human consciousness began to split. One part remains anchored here on Earth, while another is drawn upward during sleep, tethered to the moon itself. You are now living 2 lives. You just don't remember the second one, yet. Reports are fragmented, but patterns have emerged. People describe waking on a gray plain beneath a black sky, where the Earth hangs above like a blue beacon. Around them, they see structures, not quite buildings, not quite ruins, arranged geometrically, forming patterns that defy logic, older than soil, older than thought. And they see others, thousands, millions, standing motionless, all staring silently at the Earth. You recognize some of them, friends, family members, newscasters, strangers. Everyone is there. Everyone has always been there. You try to speak, but your voice makes no sound. You try to move, and your body reacts, but not by your will. You're a passenger. You're being trained. The moon is preparing you. Ancient records, suppressed for decades, describe the moon not as a satellite, but as a vessel. Sumerian tablets name it Kur-Galzu, the watcher that waits. Indigenous oral traditions across 5 continents warn not to look at the full moon too long, lest it learns your face. In 1968, Apollo 8 astronauts reported hearing a repetitive signal every 11 seconds while orbiting the moon. NASA dismissed it as interference, but declassified journal entries tell another story. The astronauts described a sound that resembled slow, steady breathing. One wrote, "It knows we're here. It's been waiting for us to get close enough." Its descent isn't random. It started only after we touched it. Our presence granted it permission. The Earth is trying to resist. In the last 10 days, seismic activity has risen by 340%. Long dormant volcanoes are stirring. The magnetic field is fluctuating, as though the planet itself is attempting to deflect an approaching force. But it's not working. The moon's mass is increasing, not in weight, but in a dimensional sense. It has become heavier in a way we cannot quantify. It no longer obeys gravitational models. It behaves not like a rock, but like an intelligence. If you've experienced certain changes recently, you're already under its influence. If you feel watched while looking at the night sky, even when the moon isn't visible. If you've dreamt of hallways you've never walked, or rooms with too many corners. If you've heard a low hum at night just below the threshold of hearing. If you've seen others pause mid-sentence, answer questions that weren't asked, or stare blankly into space. If you felt like you've been asleep for years, and this life is just a dream you're about to wake up from. These aren't symptoms of illness. They are symptoms of transfer. Do not speak of them aloud. Verbalizing your awareness accelerates the process. The moon listens. It always has. Every prayer spoken under it, every whispered wish, every late-night confession, it has been cataloging us. When you speak of it, you let it know that you know, and knowledge is consent. Once you are aware, it prioritizes you. You will be taken during the next descent phase. At 180,000 miles, the barrier between Earth and Moon will dissolve. You will exist in both realities simultaneously, but consciously in neither. You'll go to work, you'll smile, you'll speak, but you will not be present. Your body will be remote controlled. Meanwhile, the aware part of you, The part trapped on the moon will be watching yourself through your own eyes, screaming silently from the inside. You will beg for help, but your mouth will speak something else's words. This is not death, it is displacement, and it is worse. We do not know what the moon was built to do, but we know it was not formed naturally. Apollo samples revealed materials older than the solar system. Subsurface scans show machines, not rocks. One leaked transmission from the Apollo 11 mission says it all. It's not a moon, it's a door. And if it's a door, the descent isn't an approach, it's an opening. So what comes after? If the moon arrives, life will not stop. The sun will still rise, cities will still hum, but humanity will no longer own itself. Something else will live inside of us. We will become the suits it wears. Children born after the threshold will not dream. They will have no interior lives. They'll look like you, they'll sound like you, but there will be nothing behind their eyes. And worst of all, you won't be able to tell them apart from your real children. They'll grow, play, speak, pretend, but inside they will be hollow. Watch for the signs. Tonight, look at the moon. If it seems larger than it did last week, your perception is adjusting. If it appears closer than should be physically possible, you are already experiencing temporal distortion. And if the moon looks back, close your eyes. Do not open them until sunrise. Do not make plans past 40 days. Do not schedule time with others in the future. You may not be yourself when that time comes. If you wake at night and find yourself outside, staring at the moon with no memory of leaving your bed, check your feet. If they are dusted with fine gray powder, dust that doesn't exist on Earth, you've already been there. The moon has already touched you. This is the final transmission. The moon is not falling, it is returning. And when it arrives, humanity will not die. We will be overwritten. Life will continue, but selfhood will end. There is no evacuation, no defense, only endurance. When you wake on that gray plain beneath the black sky, do not look for a way home. There is no home anymore. There is only the moon. This has been a planetary emergency broadcast. Watch the skies. Count the days. Remember who you were. You will need that memory when you are no longer allowed to be them.